Hey everybody, welcome back to another Escape from Tarkov task video. Today we are going to be talking about the Peacekeeper Task series. Now, just before I get started, I just want to say that this is not a complete guide, but this is a lot of the initial tasks for Peacekeeper. I am currently hung up on two tasks, one that requires the marked room, and the other one requires these collectible items that is probably going to take me a few more days to get to. So instead of making you guys wait for a lot of the first initial quests, we're going to get into it right now, and then part 2 will come in a few days. Now, unlike the other traders in Escape from Tarkov, Peacekeeper works a little bit different. You need to actually start working at your skier tasks before you can actually start working with Peacekeeper. You need to start doing skier tasks until you unlock the mission called My Friend from the West, which is unlocked at the same time as Chemical Part 1. Chemical Part 1 is the original end task series for skier. Just a tip, make sure you keep an eye on your prapor and therapist reputation before completing too many skier tasks. Also, before we get too deep into this video, I also want to mention that as of patch 0.5.3, you actually do not need to complete any of the tasks to unlock Peacekeeper level 4, but I am certain that will be changing very soon. Alright, with that out of the way, let's get started. So, Friend from the West Part 1. Pretty easy. All you need to do is kill 10 USEC on Shoreline. Now, Shoreline has been a little bit desyncy and laggy at sorts, so you're going to have to do your best to try to finish this one up. It took me a few tries to actually complete this, so don't be discouraged if you're putting a lot of time into it. 10 PMCs doesn't sound like a lot, but on a map like Shoreline, that is the biggest map in the game that also limits the amount of PMCs to 14 at the current moment. Eventually, it's going to be up to 28. My recommendation for people that are looking for the hotspots, obviously the Shoreline office with the filing cabinets is very popular. If you want to just stick around that area, I'm sure you'll be able to hear a couple gunshots that you can pursue, as well as the new radar station, which sits on top of a hill. It's like a red and white tower. That is a very popular area because of the filing cabinets, and I frequently spot lots of people going there, especially hatchlings, because USEC hatchlings are really going to be the easiest thing for you to complete this task. Now, I would recommend going to this resort, but I didn't find that many PMCs there. And when I did, it was like one guy and they were looting around, and it was a very tight CQB environment. And I spent a lot of time just trying not to get killed, and it felt like I was wasting too much time at the resort, specifically looking for PMCs. Also, the power plant, that is the hydro power plant that runs down the river, is also a hotspot because it contains a few rare key spawns, and there's a few tool boxes that are in there, and a few scavengers that roam around the area. Not to mention some grenade crates are nearby too. So I would recommend checking out those spots. That's where I got most of my USEC kills. And that information works for many different tasks because you're going to have multiple tasks where you have to kill PMCs on Shoreline, especially for Prap Wars Punisher series. Once you've killed 10 PMCs, the only other thing you need to do is turn in 2 mbss backpacks and 6 AVS chest rigs. Just buy them from the traders and hand them over. It's pretty simple. Your reward is going to be a Colt M4A1 assault rifle and 700 USD, so pretty good. But don't get too happy with the USD because the very next task, which is called Friends from the West Part 2, requires you to turn over 5,000 USD to skier. So that is what you have to do to introduce yourself to Peacekeeper. Now, once you actually complete that task for skier, you're going to be on to your first Peacekeeper mission, which is called Fishing Gear. Fishing Gear requires you to leave an SV98 bolt-action sniper and a Leatherman multi-tool on a beach location on Shoreline. The exact location of where you need to drop off the sniper and the Leatherman is down on the beach in front of the gas station at one of the water breakers. Resting next to one of the water breakers on the beach is going to be a boat. You need to sit there for 30 seconds to drop the SV98, and then you have to sit there for an additional 30 seconds to drop a Leatherman multi-tool. I'm not gonna lie, this is going to suck. Especially since more people are learning about this task, it's very easy to snipe people that are trying to complete it. And every single time somebody tries to complete it, they're gonna have an SV98 on their back. My recommendation is if you get killed even once, go into a Shoreline raid and really take your time, wait near the end of the raid's timer and go down to the beach and plant it. The more people who unlock Peacekeeper missions and the more people that become knowledgeable about these tasks, the more likely you're going to have full groups of people camping this location for free bolt-action sniper rifles. Once you've dropped off the sniper rifle and the Leatherman multi-tool, turn it into Peacekeeper to accept the next task, which is called Tiger Safari. Tiger Safari requires you to plant 3 markers at 3 Tiger LAVs on the customs map. For the sake of this guide, we are starting on the customs side of the map, even though that the boiler side, the LAVs are closer. So, on the custom side, you're going to want to cross around the mid-land bridge, and you will see a white LAV which is crashed just near the newsstand at the blue checkpoint metal wall. It's pretty easy to spot. It's the only white UN Humvee in the area, so it's just right next to the checkpoint. Go there and plant it. Now, the final 2 UN LAVs are down near the military checkpoint. There is one in the middle of the road, halfway between the military checkpoint and the gas station. And the final one is the near one of the breaks in the walls, which is pretty common. If you have some experience on the customs map, you'll know where this is. It's directly near the military checkpoint, and it's kind of crashed off in a ditch. Scavs frequently hide behind it and take firing positions. So those are the 3 locations. Plant those markers, escape from customs, and you've completed the mission. The next task is called Scrap Metal, and this is actually very similar to the one that you just completed. Again, you're going to have to buy 3 markers yourself and go to the shoreline map. Your mission is to put 3 markers on the T-90 tanks at shoreline. Now, there are T-90 tanks that are near the CCP military base. Those are not the proper tanks. So the 3 tanks that you're going to have to plant, the first one is in the residential area on shoreline, and it's right next to the bus station sort of area. So where there's a couple green crates, there's a newsstand, there's a lot of shops on the main road, there's a lot of like military garbage everywhere. The T-90 tank is just going to be sitting right there. The next tank is at the Rock Passage bunker, and this is the original extraction location for shoreline. So it's just going to be sitting under the sniper rock right next to the bunker. If you're unsure on how to get to this location, if you're new to the game, just follow the rock wall on the north side of the map until you get to a bunker that kind of it meets at a choke point, and you have to cross a bridge that has a river. You'll see the T-90 tank that's nested amongst some sandbags on the right side. Just plant the marker, and I actually don't cross the river at that point. I actually follow the river south towards the power station, the power hydro dam, which is even more south than the like sort of bus station. And I cross the bridge there because you want to follow that road until you see another T-90, which is going to be the last one that you need. From there, just leave the map and you've completed the task. The next task is called Eagle Eye, and this requires you to find 2 UAV crash sites on shoreline. And whenever you find the crash sites, you have to retrieve an SAS disc from their drones, which is actually a little panel that you have to open up on the side of the drone, and you actually have to grab the drive out of it. It was pretty cool, actually. I thought that was an interesting mechanic. Instead of it just like laying on the ground, you have to actually interact with the UAV. The first UAV is just before the Rock Pass bunker, which we just talked about in the last task. If you're actually heading there along that rock wall, there's going to be sort of a dirt road that leads towards it. Crashed on that dirt road is the UAV. The second UAV is a little bit hard to explain, so use the video as a reference, or bear with me. So if you cross the bridge from that rock passage and you continue to run kind of along the wall towards the customs extraction, which is on the far northeast side of the map, eventually you will see the drone lying in an open field. If you use the first drone as a reference and you sort of follow the northeastern side of the map on the same latitude, that's the only way I can explain it, you will actually find the next UAV. So think about the UAVs sort of flying in a convoy and both of them crashing, then they're following each other. One just crashes before, the other one crashes later on down the same path. The next mission is called Humanitarian Supplies. Now again, you're going to have to buy some more markers. So you have to go to the shoreline map and you want to find 2 trucks that have UN marked cargo in the back. There's a lot of supply trucks on shoreline, but what gives it away are the giant wooden boxes in the back with the UN logo spray painted onto them. Your first truck is going to be at the resort parking lot on the north side. It's just parked backed up at one of the front doors, and the crates are in the back. So just put the marker on the truck and then head down towards the CCP military on the shoreline. Now to the, I guess it would be the south side of the CCP military base, you have this industrial area that's sort of fenced in with this blue industrial fence. In there that's parked is another truck with the UN crates. So if you're struggling to find that, basically just follow the shore all the way to the industrial section and start looking through the blue fenced in area. You'll see a truck there, plant your marker, and head to the extraction. Once you've extracted from shoreline, buy 5 MREs from Peacekeeper and turn them in. That's going to be it for that task. The next task is called The Cult Part 1. This requires you to go to the church in the swamp on shoreline to try to find a peacekeeper that's gone missing. Once you get to the church, you'll notice that it looks like a murder house. There's like blood everywhere. And leading out of one of the side doors to the south is a bunch of blood. There's a blood trail that leads all the way to a cabin that's up on top of the hill. So follow the blood trail, open that cabin, go inside, and sure enough, there's a dead body on the ground that you can actually inspect. Once you've actually found the body, survive and leave the area, and you've completed the Cult Part 1. The next task is called Spa Tour Part 1, and all this requires you is to kill 20 scavs on shoreline. Now, in the quest text, or the task text, it does say that he specifically wants you to kill the scavs at the resort, but it doesn't matter where you kill them on shoreline. They don't need to be in the resort area. After you've killed those 20, all you gotta do is leave the zone and you've completed that task. The next task is called Spa Tour Part 2. Now, you're going to have to buy 2 markers at the beginning of this task and bring them in to shoreline. Next, head towards the spa, and in the parking lot on the southern side, you'll notice a helicopter with an opening in the back. You can actually go inside of the helicopter and there's a weapon crate that you can loot, which is not a part of the mission, but you need to place a marker on top of the helicopter. Next, to the east side of the helicopter, there is a road that leads down the hill. At the very start of the road, you need to place the marker down on the dirt. And it needs to be sort of near the resort, so you can't just place it anywhere on that road. Plant both the markers, leave the raid, and you've completed the task. Now, sadly, for Spa Tour Part 3 and the Cult Part 2, I have not completed those tasks, so that is where we're going to have to end. But I can actually tell you I'll be covering this in a separate video, but the Cult Part 2 requires you to have the marked key or know somebody that has it, because you need to place a beacon in the ritual room up there. So I'm currently farming for my marked key. Spa Tour Part 3 requires you to get like 3 clean wipers, insulated tape, and ox bleach. Now, the bleach is pretty common, but there's like this blue insulated tape. It's not the right thing. But anyway, I'll cover that in a separate video, and that should be coming in a couple days. But that is 8 tasks for Peacekeeper, plus the 2 prerequisite tasks from Skier. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you found this video informative, please do let me know in the comment section below and share this around to your other Escape from Tarkov friends that might be struggling with the Peacekeeper tasks in any way. And also subscribe here on the YouTube channel for more tasks and videos for Escape from Tarkov, as well as check out the daily live streams every single morning starting at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and Sundays at noon.